What do you think about the lean method? Which is about
So
constantly looking for feedbacks by clients and incrementing your services or your products upon those feedbacks.
yeah, no, I think that's super important in any business.
Hmm.
Like I
Can
I
I
actually
ask you if you
think
do
that
that?
one of the yeah, that's what we do, right? At Night Owl. Like this is how Night Owl started.
Okay.
Before I go into that story, like what I actually think a lot of businesses that fail early on is because of that. Is that the entrepreneur thinks they're right, and they're like, "Oh, these customers, they're so stupid. They don't know better. That's why."
Hmm.
That's not how it works. If they don't get it, then it's you're the one who's wrong. You know what I mean? Like that's not how the market works, right? Like the customers are not. I mean, it's like what Gary Vee says, right? The market
Hmm.
doesn't give a fuck the market doesn't give a fuck about your feelings, right? Like if you think you're right and they're wrong, okay, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are buying, so you're wrong.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So that's actually like a lot of entrepreneurs says, oh, we make websites this way because it's the right way, and all those people that are doing it that way, they're wrong, right?
Okay.
Okay, like see what happens. See if you're gonna see if you're gonna win that game. Okay, so that's actually the number one reason why entrepreneurs fail because they think they're right and they think the customer is wrong. And
Mhm.
and at that moment, instead of shifting their changing their mind and appeasing the client customers, they put their foot down and they're like, no, I will not change. It's their ego. Like
Yeah.
I'm right? That ego is what kills most business.
Hmm.
And that again the reason why I put that. And I had that bigger than anyone else. I
Okay.
had the biggest ego, and that's why my business didn't grow for years. But here's the thing. That's why when I started Night Owl Nation, I did it completely differently. Like at Night Owl Nation, what I did was in the beginning, what I did was on Instagram, I saw this feature called Close Friends. Right? I was
Hmm.
like, oh, that's cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna um, charge people $5 a month, and I'm gonna add them to my close friends. And every day when I'm making website for clients, whatever it is, I'm just gonna show behind the scenes of what I'm doing. So you get to see behind the scenes of what I do for $5 a month, and I post it on close friends, and that's how it started. Okay, and then people signed up, blah blah blah. And then after a while, I was like, oh, it would be cool if I actually jump on a Zoom call once a week where I actually talk about some of this stuff, teach them about like create a community, right? I was like, cool. So let's do a Zoom call once a week, and we did that 4 weeks in a row. And then after that, we're like, oh, let's just turn it into an official. Let's have a platform where these people can talk to each other. And then we signed up for Circle. And then at that time, it was like, oh, we need a name for this. Okay, what do you guys think of Cool Kids Club? And then Gigi was like, no, I don't really like it. Like, what? And then people suggest different name, and one of this name that you know that was suggested was Night Owl, right? And then so I did a poll. Which name do you guys like? And everybody picked Night Owl. I was like, okay, let's call it Night Owl Nation. Like you have no fucking clue how we evolved to where we are today.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing like that on day one. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
and
Sure.
then after a while, I'm like, oh, people are not showing up, and they're not really, it's they're not really active. It's like, but then at that time, I happened to listen to this podcast from this pastor who's talking about small groups
Hmm.
in church, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Let's try that. So we tried it, and then the first time we ran it, it was a hot mess. It wasn't, people were leaving small groups, blah, 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 and then we fixed it over time, little by little by little, and it got to where we are.
Hmm.
And then even now, there's a lot of flaws that we're constantly working on. But I think business is not about building. I think it's about trying one thing and then fix it, and then try another thing and then fix it. Like I think business is constantly fixing, and you might not really understand it right now, but 5 years from now, when you've started your own business and blah, blah, you look back to this episode, you're gonna be like, oh shit, someone's totally right.
Sure. Okay. So authenticity also takes time too. Maybe trying to use the pussy word, may be like a step. And if I
exactly.
Well,
That's why I want you to go ahead and do it. You know
yes,
what I mean?
okay.
Because it's the only way you can learn.
Yeah,
Whether,
sure,
you know what I mean?
sure.